Many of you have asked me to speak on retelling of tales, retelling of old tales. Retelling of old tales is a postmodernist project. It's a feminist project. It's a neo-historicist project. And above everything else, in simple words, retelling of tales is essential for our traditions to live. It is essential that as a living human society, we keep reinterpreting, molding, changing, reanalyzing our old tales. All religious tales must be told anew from time to time. The new generation has to engage with them. Every generation has to engage with them. Many times it so happens that the milieu changes, the context changes, the situations change, the societal atmosphere changes, and the story has to be represented in the modern context, in the contemporary context. And that is how we put life into our culture. Any story, while the values remain the same, values are eternal: truth, honesty, purity, restraint, discipline, self-sufficiency, sustainability, all these ideas, cleanliness, all these ideas, values are eternal. They are non-negotiable, right? But the stories are definitely to be changed, to be re-narrated. And that is how our stories have lived all these centuries. The basic story of Ramayana was told and retold and is being told thousands of times. So there is nothing like dead wood. There is nothing like the end of the tale like a thing. Not at all. The story must be retold. It is essential. It is a sign of a living society. That is the strength of our religion. That is the strength of our flexibility. That is the strength of our modern and flexible approach. So stories must be retold, and they are being retold. It's a feminist project. Many times it happens that our women role models, our women archetypes, the matriarchs, the goddesses are misinterpreted. And Sita is definitely one such person. There is nothing weak about Sita. It must be remembered that Sita is a strong woman. She is the embodiment of strength. She is not to be pitied. She lived life at her own terms. She went with a man she liked. She did not go with a man she did not like. She rejected, she prevailed her ground, and all those stories of her Agni Pariksha, of her turning away from home and all that is an added tale. It is not there in the original story by Valmiki. We must emphasize that the story of Sita ends with her coronation, with her sitting on the throne. So we have a spate now. We have so many novels, new novels being written on Sita, where her strength, where her stand that no means no, where her moral moral superiority, where her mind, where her mental strength is being projected properly. The story is being retold, the story is being changed, it is being rewritten with the modern perspective, and it's being done beautifully. It is a must. This is our tribute to Mother Sita. This is an essential tribute to Mother Sita. We have Sita, Warrior of Mithila by Amish Tripathi, where she is a warrior and where she plans her own marriage. She's into the whole structure of planning, execution, and as the name suggests, she's a warrior. Then we have Sita, Daughter of the Earth by Nagpal Saraswati. We have The Forest of Enchantments by Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni. These novels project Sita in an entirely new light. They project, had Sita been living today, how she would have been, how she would have behaved, how her words would have been, how her actions would have taken place. That is the beauty of these novels. Other women characters, other super heroines and our role models and the goddesses and the archetypes, our matriarchs, Kunti, Draupadi. So many novels are being written and they are worth reading. They're beautifully written. Draupadi, the Tale of an Empress by Sai Swarupa Iyer, and Yagyaseni, the story of Draupadi by Pratibha Ray. Yagyaseni. So the whole perspective of Draupadi, her desires and her insult and her revenge and her mental processes and whatever she went through is boldly described in these novels. It is like oxygen to our religion. It is like a new life. It is like infusing new life into our religious tales. We must realize that we are so flexible, we are so modern, we are so adapting, we are so accepting that we continuously write and rewrite our old tales. That is the proof that we are a living, breathing, strong, thinking society. Every generation must have its own Ramayana. Every generation must have its own Mahabharata, its own tales, all the tales. They must be reinterpreted according to the terminology, according to the lingua, according to the tongue, according to the prevalent words of a particular generation. Because these are universal tales. They carry universal thoughts. They carry universal psychology. It's only a matter of narration. It's only a matter of communication, and that must be done. So this is about retelling of old tales, and we can take up one novel at a time and go into the details of one novel. That can also be done. So we will see. This is for now. Thank you. Thank you so much.